Hello lovelies, and welcome to my final lockdown video. South Africa will be moving into level 3 of lockdown as of Monday next week, which means the world is opening up again and we will be able to see each other again. So this will be my last video in the lockdown coaching series, and as of next week I'll be returning to my weekly videos on my Real Talk series. So they won't be live videos, but my videos will still be coming every week. It'll just be in a different format from next week. So I just want to firstly thank all of you for this amazing journey that these last kind of 9 weeks have been, and for sharing this experience, and for all of your messages, for all of your questions, for all of the interactions, and how we've all really held each other through these last few weeks. It's been really a remarkable time. And I've loved that I've walked this journey with you. Thank you for inviting me into your spaces and to listen to me drone on about random subjects. So, a lot of people throughout this process constantly ask me what my mother would be saying about this, for those of you who knew my mother, Wendy. And I've just been hearing her voice so very loudly lately. How she spoke of just moving out of this lockdown and coming into a new way of being. It is, please wake up. Please stop asking for permission. And please stop looking to other people to tell you how to live your life. It is the biggest thing that I have seen with everybody as lockdown is coming to an end, is the fear in what are we allowed to do, how are we allowed to live, where are we allowed to go, how are we allowed to speak. It's becoming really concerning how people have bought into this constant fear, and how we are all in a space of policing each other, and it has to stop. So I think the theme of my talk today, and saying goodbye to lockdown, is really stop asking for permission. Lockdown has been a time for a lot of people to reevaluate the state of their lives and to really think about what their lives going forward are going to look like. And people have had to really have a long, hard look at the unworkability of how they have been living, how they have been working, how they have been parenting. And I think a lot of people have really fundamentally shifted their ideas of how sustainable is or is not the life that we were living. So you are now in a position to choose a new life for yourself that has absolutely nothing to do with reasonableness. You're in a position now to choose to take your child into a path of educating that may not be traditional anymore. You can shift your working into a way of being that may not fit into any structure of how you've done it before. And what has been the point of having this absolute planetary freeze for almost 9 weeks if we are not really going to reevaluate absolutely everything, because we will probably never have a time like this again. So, none of you need permission from anybody else to live your life the way you want to live it. You are the authority in your own life. And stop willingly giving authority to other people to tell you how to be in your own life. You only, those people are only the authority because you gave them the permission to do it in the first place. The government only exists because we gave them permission. We're the ones that put them there. So, it's up to us to decide how much we're going to give them the power to control our lives. You have to get much better with your critical thinking as to how you are approaching coming out of lockdown, and stop waiting for the one correct answer for absolutely everything, because there isn't one. Medical experts cannot agree on how to be, how not to be, whether to wear a mask, whether not to wear a mask, whether to go back to school, whether not to go back to school. Parents can't agree on whether to be homeschooling, whether to be going back. You're going to drive yourself nuts trying to find the one correct answer that actually doesn't exist. So all you can do is do your own research, ask your own questions, investigate your own truth, and do what works for you. You have to stop worrying about what other people are going to think. You have to stop worrying about whether you are going to be included or excluded. You have to stop worrying about whether you're going to be ridiculed or not ridiculed. You have the right to live your life however you want. So, in the great words of Bruce Lee, who said, "I am not here to live up to your expectations of me, and you are not here to live up to my expectations of you." And we all have to just let go of what we expect the other people in our lives to do coming out of this time. There is no normal people, and there is no specific right or wrong. It's just what we choose to do. So this really has been a time of us having to learn how to listen to our own intuition, our own hearts, our own thoughts, and our own truths. And coming out of lockdown, you have to pay attention to what works for you and leave what doesn't. You have to pay attention to what makes you feel alive, and you have to leave all the things that don't. You have to pay attention to your own voice, and you have to stop deferring to everybody else's. The time has come to really stop being a sheep, because right now, people, it is not about safety in numbers. Being a sheep really is just about following everybody else with no thought as to what the truth is for you. And then getting angry when that crowd leads you to a place that creates the most unbelievable stress and anxiety in your life. So, one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself is to be okay with being excluded. Be okay with not having people's approval. Be okay with being the weirdo. Be okay with being on the sidelines. And be okay with being the maverick and walking your own path, no matter whether people approve of it, agree with it, or not. We have a powerful position right now as to whether we are going to choose to keep perpetuating systems and institutions that have not worked for the longest time, but no single person has had the courage to say, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. But this may be one of the only times in recent history where collectively we can stand together and say, we're never doing this again. And everything has to change from now on moving forward. So you have to have conversations with yourselves, with your families, with your kids, with your neighbors, with your communities and families about what hasn't worked before lockdown and how are you going to make sure we never go back to that place again. So, and the great words, you all know this quote very well, of the beautiful George Bernard Shaw. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, whilst the unreasonable man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Hence, all progress depends upon the unreasonable man. So all I can say to all of you going out of lockdown is be totally unreasonable with your lives and really see how you can change the world. I love you all very much, and I will see you again in the next few weeks, moving back onto my Real Talk series. So, lots of love to you all.